So any one of you, Shubham, Shelly, Ankit, Trilokesh, and Siddesh, whether do you like to code in C or like Java or C++? Shelly,
No, sir, C is fine.
C is fine. Shubham,
So C is fine for me.
Trilokesh,
Yes, sir, C will be okay.
Ankit,
So C language will be okay.
Siddesh,
C language is fine, sir.
C is fine. Okay. So it's uh, amazing and strange both together, because these days people are preferring object oriented also, and it's good that C is actually basic language. So if you like C, then it's good. So have you, any one of you, tried to do some exercise in arrays and linked list, coding exercise on your own? Like create an array, insert, delete, and what is a search, sort, basic operations. Similarly, both of them for lists and arrays. Have you tried in last 3 days? Any one of you? See, all these things which I am telling you to do at home, or I'm giving you as a homework, I hope that you will do it religiously, because that will help you and that will help the class to go on in smooth way. Okay, so if you keep on doing things time to time, then it's easy to move ahead. Okay, so do you have problem, like do you feel that you will face problem in these operations, doing them in arrays or lists? Please be clear, like whatever is your, even if you say like I cannot do in arrays, or I cannot do linked list, or I have this problem, I have that problem, that also we will have to handle. Right now you can tell me, so we can plan our classes according to that, future classes. Yes, please be vocal. If I ask something, say yes or no. Otherwise, I'll just waiting. I'll keep on waiting. You will also keep on waiting.
No, sir, there are no problems.
You can do that. Who was that? क्या नाम
Siddesh,
था
sir.
आपका जो? सिद्धेश. What about others? प्रॉब्लम नहीं है तो करा क्यों नहीं? हाँ, अंकित, कौन बोले अभी?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, प्रॉब्लम है कुछ कोडिंग में? इसके सी में कर
No,
सकते
sir.
हैं आराम से.
Yes, sir.
Insert, delete in both, for both of these structures, arrays and linked lists.
Yes, sir.
What about others? Shelly, Shubham?
So I think we still need a revision. So,
Revision on what?
so array and linked list.
C language or arrays and linked lists?
I think both.
Okay. What about other guy who is Shubham?
So I tried few programs and yes, insertion and append. Yes, I'm working on it, sir.
So you are able to do that, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. To start with, what about other who joined today only?
Yes, sir.
Trelok?
Yes, sir. Sir, Since C is bit tough for me because same thing I have already tried recently in this Python, the append and all these things, the NumPy array. So in
Uh-huh.
Python it's quite simpler. I felt simpler
Oh,
than
that's
C.
okay. I understand Python is a ready-made language, but for these basic operations, I want like people to use C or Java or C++ because then only you will able to know the intricacies of the data structure. So in Python, you just have to write one command and it will do your job. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So to start with, for these, at least for these two or three, even if you want to use Python, then it will be preferred to use classes of that Python. Okay. If you use already created class, then it will be very easy, or you may not able to understand the thing actually. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to do with Python, everybody want to do with Python. Let us do these two things, arrays and linked list at least, with this C, and then for trees we may opt for object oriented language, any one of them. If you want, to continue in C, you can continue in C. If you want object oriented, even in if we go for Python, we will go for create class for each thing. So it will be like coding again. You don't have to use, you are not expected to use the ready-made classes of trees and all those things, graphs available in Python. Okay. So how do you do in linked list? So linked list, you have to define a struct, type def struct, and you have to define your data if it is integer, and you have to define some other so that will be type def struct node, and then you can say next star node. Okay, so something like this. So basically you have to have at least two items in each node
Sir,
data
sorry to
structure.
interrupt you, but we can't see anything.
It's not shared. You are not able to see my screen.
So just only your Microsoft Teams window.
Okay, sorry. So I'll just start again and see what is the problem. So is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how you define something like this. I actually do not remember the exact syntax, but it is more or less like that only. So you have to use type def, you have to use struct, and you have to use another name, some name of this data structure. And then inside this structure, you have to define two fields. One is for data. So whatever type of your data, if it is int, if it is character, if it is string, you have to define in that way. And another field is your pointer to the next node. Okay. So that is your linked list. So every node will look like this. First is data, say 2, and next is pointer, which is pointing to some other node. Okay, so this is also a pointer, and this has to go for point to another node. Okay, and then to use this, you have to define, for example, first node. So you have to say node first pointer, and then you say new node, new is equal to malloc size of node. Okay, and new or temp, you say temp here. So here you will say temp. The temp is equal to, so this malloc returns a pointer of newly created type, and then this temp you can fill. This temp is, since it is a pointer, so temp arrow data refers to the first field of this type def structure, and temp dot next refers to the second field of this type def structure. So this is how you can use C language to refer these nodes of linked lists, and then you can update them as whatever is your requirement, depending on your requirement. So you can use for loop, you can use while loop, and you get data from user for each node, and for each node you create a new node as temp, and then you can say first. So suppose you have created temp using this, then you say first is equal to temp. Okay, now first is pointing to temp. So after this, you go to this. So I'll just try to write it again, or I'll so I'm just trying to give you feeling of some coding in C. Okay, but when you write program, you may need to access some actual text, standard text for C language, say some standard book or from website. You can get the real details of syntax and all. So I'm just giving you how you what will be the steps for coding in C. So सबसे पहले आपको एक स्ट्रक्चर डिफाइन करना होगा जिसमें दो फील्ड होंगे, एक डेटा होगा, एक दूसरा नोड का पॉइंटर होगा, which is pointer to the same data structure type, same structure type which you have just defined. So self को वो point करेगा. That will be, this pointer will be pointing to the structure of same kind. Okay. Then inside main, you will create at least two for creating first. So suppose you want to create this list 1, 2. So what you will do? You will create first temp is equal to malloc size, temp data is equal to 1, and temp next is equal to null. So null is a data value which means nothing, or it is equal to 0, \0. So first you will create this first item, first node. तो ये काम करेंगे तो क्या हो जाएगा, ये वाला node create हो गया, and this is temp is pointing to this. Now you say first is equal to temp, so this first is again pointing to the same node. Then again you go back to the same steps and create new malloc. Okay, So create new node. So then temp will be again pointing to next node. So suppose you created so abhi when you create again, new node will be created and temp will be pointing to this, and you fill, suppose then in next time you say temp arrow data is equal to 2. Okay, so that will be next statement. Okay, and then this is, तो क्या होगा code actually? So I'll just try to write down the complete code. Actually what I was doing yesterday, I was doing all these things in that note. That is better. So are you able to see this class notebook?
No, sir.
No, sir.
I'll just share it again. Now is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now I'll just try to write down what we have done again. तो सबसे पहले क्या करा हमने? How to type def struct, and this is int data, and you say node star next, and you say node. So now what is done? We have created a node type def. So we have created a node type def. Now in main, I'm doing it first time, so थोड़ा mistake हो रहा है फिर, so I will correct it next time. So in main, what I am doing? I am creating two pointers, first and temp. Okay. Then what I do? I create temp is equal
So
to.
will it be fine for you if you type the code in a notebook or some text editor?
Okay. Maybe. So this is only code, so that we can do. Right. So this is what is our कोड. तो हमने यहाँ पे क्या किया? टाइप डेफ तो हो गया, वो बाद में कर लेंगे. मेन के अंदर आ गए हम और हमने नोड स्टार फर्स्ट कॉमा स्टार temp बना दिया. So what we have done? We have created pointers which can point to your struct type. जो structure आपने define किया है, these pointers can point to the struct type. Okay. Now you want this temp to point to actually created node. So malloc, you say size of temp, size of node. Okay. So as soon as you say this, what happens? A new space is allocated of size node. Node size की एक space memory में allocate हुई और उसका pointer is given the name temp. So temp is now pointing to this newly created node. Now what do you say? Temp dot, or dot is not, because temp is pointer. So if temp is simply a node, then you have to use temp dot. So what are the two fields of this node? Anyone? What are the two fields of node data structure?
Data and the next address.
Data and next. Okay. So अगर वो pointer नहीं है, first is without pointer, then you say first dot data, first dot next to address the two fields. If it is a pointer, then you have to use arrow. So since it is a pointer, I say data is equal to 1, and I have given value 1 to that, and then I say temp next is equal to null. ये null होता है या nil होता है, देख लेना, एक बार चेक कर लेना. अलग अलग लैंग्वेजेस में अलग अलग नोटेशन है nil पॉइंटर को लोकेट करने के लिए. तो temp डॉट नेक्स्ट इज इक्वल टू null आपने कह दिया. यहाँ पे शायद ये भी चलता है सी लैंग्वेज में. Just check this. Okay. So what you have done? You have created a node with value having 1 and pointing next pointer pointing to nothing. Okay, now you say first is equal to temp. So what you have done, you have created the node and first pointer is pointing to this node. Now you want to attach this with another node of value size of node. Okay, and then I say temp data is equal to 2. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I'm creating a new node. New space is using, whenever I use malloc, it creates new space. Okay, so now it is new space is created again of size node, and temp is now pointing to this. So what happens after when I say temp is equal to malloc, जो temp पहले इस node को point कर रहा था जिसमें 1 था, अब उसको point नहीं करता है. Temp is now changed. This pointer is now changed and pointing to new node which doesn't have any value right now at this step. Now I assign a value 2 to this and I say temp next is equal to null. तो अब मैंने एक नई नोड बना दी जो कि 2 values contain कर. Now I want the earlier which was this pointer first is pointing to this node, जो वो first जिस node को point कर रहा था उस node का next pointer I want this node to become that. So what I should do? Anybody? I want this newly created node to become the next node of previous node. जो अभी बनाई एक नोड और फिर यहाँ पे हमने दूसरी नोड बनाई. इस नोड का हमने नाम फर्स्ट कर दिया था. Before
So previous node का address should point to the next node.
previous node का एड्रेस नहीं, previous node में जो next pointer है,
हाँ वो.
that should point to this.
That should
तो क्या
point
कहना
to
चाहिए
the-
मुझे यहाँ पे? What should I say here? Who was this? कौन बोला? जब भी आप बोले तो नाम बताएं क्योंकि हम देख नहीं रहे हैं ना, तो वो बड़ा कंफ्यूजन रहता है.
Siddesh sir.
सिद्धेश. हाँ. So what should I do this first? Siddesh, what should I do now? Coding.
First
Coding में
arrow
क्या करना
next is
है?
first arrow
next
next
is equal to
temp
Yes.
data,
temp.
temp data.
Not temp data. Temp. हमने यहाँ क्या किया? First was a arrow. First was a pointer. First was a type pointer. First सबसे पहले हमने एक नोड बनाया जिसका नाम temp था. उस नोड का नाम हमने first भी कर दिया. So after doing this, what happens? After doing this, what happens? ये शेयर दिख रहा है क्या? जो अभी मैंने दूसरा किया, शीट चेंज की अभी स्क्रीन दिख रहा है
No,
क्या?
sir.
No sir.
ना मतलब क्या हो रहा है अभी? ये समझ पा रहे हैं? मैं बना के दिखाऊं. सबसे
समझ
पहले
रहे हैं.
स्टेप में क्या हुआ?
समझ रहा है सर.
समझ में आ गया ना? तो फर्स्ट स्टेप में क्या हुआ? यहाँ पे एक नोड बनाया, उसका नाम टेम्प था. उस टेम्प को हमने नाम दे दिया फर्स्ट. यहाँ पे हमने फर्स्ट नाम दे दिया. तो अब वो जो नोड बनाया था उसके दो नाम हो गए. Both of these pointers, temp and first were pointing to the same node at this step. Now I created another node. मैं log जब भी करता हूँ तो नया नोड बनता है. I created another node and now temp, I made temp to point to this node. तो अब ये स्टेप होने के बाद अब जो हमने पहला नोड बनाया था उसको खाली एक ही पॉइंटर पॉइंट कर रहा है, वो है फर्स्ट. ये बनाने के बाद temp is pointing to new node and first is pointing to the previous node. Now I want this node to be the next node of this. जो भी इसमें नोड है उसकी नेक्स्ट बनाना चाहता हूँ. तो क्या करना चाहिए मुझे? First is a pointer, is to pointing node, and this node contains two fields. First is data and next field is next. और next field is again a pointer. Next field क्या है? एक pointer type है which is supposed to point to node structure. So what I should say? हमने यहाँ पे क्या किया था, फर्स्ट को टेम्प के बराबर रखा था. सो we made first pointer to point to temp node. Now here we want first का जो next pointer है वो temp को point करे. So what we did, we again say first arrow next is equal to temp. So now we have created a linked list containing 2 nodes. अब ये काम आप for loop में भी कर सकते हैं. If you want to create new node, तो ये steps तो repeating है ना. You see, these steps are repeating. Now if you want to add new node, you want to say again these 2 things, these 3 things, and again say first next is equal to temp. So you just keep on creating the nodes and adding them at the end. So then you can do this way. So you can write, instead of writing all these nodes again and again, you can write a for loop and do these things repeatedly as long as you want. यहाँ पे हमने वैल्यू फिक्स रखी हुई है. हम चाहते हैं कि वैल्यू अलग अलग हो हर नोड का. So we can ask user. So in that for loop, we can ask every time we enter in that loop, we can ask what is the new value which you want to create. तो यहाँ पे हमने 2 की बजाय हम वो वैल्यू रख देंगे जो कि हमने यूजर से पूछी है. So all these things we can do. I believe you can do that in coding. So I just introduced a bit, though it is not expected, but I am just to start with, I just give you an idea कि हमें क्या करना है. Okay, so everybody feels comfortable now. Who doesn't feel comfortable in this coding part? Shelly, do you feel comfortable now?
Yes, sir.
Do you feel comfortable? And Trilokesh,
Yes, sir.
do you feel comfortable now?
Yes,
So
sir.
you can do this. इस तरह से आप डेटा स्ट्रक्चर बना सकते हैं, लिंक डेटा स्ट्रक्चर. Okay, now we move on to the next data structure, which is, अभी हम दूसरा वाला वही पुराना वाला यूज करते हैं, वन नोड, और इसको मैं बाद में करके देख लूंगा इस पे कैसे काम करते हैं. So although I had to start binary tree and do a bit, but okay. So are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. कैसे दिया था? Yes. So now we come to another data structure, which is tree. And tree में most popular is binary tree. We can have more than many types of tree, but basic and most popular is binary tree. Binary means 2. Binary means 2. So what do we mean here? That for a node can connect to 2 different nodes as their next nodes. So उससे क्या हुआ? अभी हम लिंक लिस्ट पे थे, वहां पे एक नोड का नेक्स्ट चाइल्ड केवल एक ही नोड हो सकता था. So it was linear data structure. So from one node you can move on to the next node only, one node only, or you can move previous to only one node. So it forms a linear kind of structure. लाइन की तरह से, जैसे लाइन होती है उस तरह का स्ट्रक्चर हो गया. Okay, but this is not linear now. From one node, either you can go to this or this. Either you can go to this or this. So it is called tree structure, or what is a non-linear or planar. You can say planar or non-linear. Okay. Planar means where your structure is can be represented on a plane. Plane कैसा होता है? Plane में 2 sides होती हैं, एक x axis एक y axis. So you have two directions. So here you have two directions. So that is why we can say it is planar. Okay. General, this is not very general. So generally planar वगैरह अभी हम don't get confused. Planar वगैरह हमें कहने की जरूरत नहीं है अभी. We will call it non-linear only. So now what is there in this node? You have at least three things. One is data. Another is, you say, child 1 and child 2. तो हर नोड में अब तीन फील्ड है एटलीस्ट. ओके. जनरली वैसे पेरेंट का भी एक, तो चार फील्ड है हर नोड में. चार फील्ड है. वन इज द डेटा and three fields are just pointers. So for example, we are getting this tree. We are creating this tree and this is node 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. ये सब क्या है? ये वैल्यूज हैं, डेटा की वैल्यूज हैं. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So anybody who has problem with Hindi, so I will not use Hindi. If anybody is having problem with understanding in Hindi,
No, sir.
No, sir.
so if
No, sir.
everybody is comfortable with Hindi, I'll keep on using Hindi also side by side so that it becomes comfortable to understand. Please be frank. अगर हिंदी किसी को, if anybody is not comfortable with Hindi, please tell. त्रय लोग
No, sir. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं सर.
comfortable with Hindi?
Yes, sir. Comfortable.
Okay. So this is the tree structure. ठीक है. अब आपको डिफरेंस, मेन डिफरेंस समझ में आ गया लीनियर और नॉन लीनियर स्ट्रक्चर. So in linear we have only one. Next, here we can have you can move in one direction. So this is non-linear. So binary means there are only two directions. From one node you have only two next child. So this is binary. Okay. So basic हो गया. अब इसका स्ट्रक्चर कैसे डिफाइन करेंगे सी लैंग्वेज में? दैट इज योर टास्क. ओके. अभी मैंने बेसिक आपको लिंक लिस्ट में आपको बता दिया कि नोड कैसे बनाना है, ये कैसे बनाना है. अब आप ये बाइनरी ट्री में नोड कैसे बनाना है सी में, वो आप कर लेंगे. और उसमें नया चाइल्ड ऐड करना है, नया नोड ऐड करना है, तो कैसे करेंगे. सपोज तो इन दिस जनरली यहाँ पे तो हम फर्स्ट पॉइंटर रखते हैं which is pointing to the first node. Here we use root. So this node is generally referred by a pointer called root. यहाँ पे जैसे हमने first नाम का एक पॉइंटर बनाया था which was pointing to the first node. Here we create pointer name as root. Generally the popular name which we use is root. So root is pointing to the topmost parent which does not have any parent. A node which does not have any parent, valid parent, null होगा इसका. So if a node is not having any parent, we call it root. Okay. And these are called leaves. Any node which does not have any child is called leaf. Right? Leaf यही होगा ना स्पेलिंग? गड़बड़ हो गया क्या? Leaves or leaf. Okay. Right, understood? Now this is height. Height is this. How many nodes are there or how many edges are there from root to the leaf? Okay. So this is called height. These are called edges. These are called nodes. Okay. These are leaves. Height may be different. So there is complete binary tree and So there is complete binary tree, complete means which have all the children of a particular level. So this is level. These are levels. Level 0, level 1, like that. Okay. So for a, if you have all the nodes, so if you have all the nodes present in each level, then you call it complete binary tree. Okay. So this is complete binary tree. Then this is next complete binary tree. Then this is next complete binary tree. Yes, sir. You can just go through in your text also. कोई भी book आप standard book ले लेंगे data structure की, and you can go through all these terms again. So I'm just referring what I'm able to remember and which I feel are important. Complete binary tree. Then degree. Degree here is any node. How many nodes are connected to a particular node? Then it is called degree. Degree is a very popular term used in graphs and trees. The degree of a node is how many nodes are connected to a particular node. Then you have in degree and out degree. So in degree means how many from a node, how many nodes you have out path. So if your edges are directed, so that exists in graphs. In degree and out degree, that is in graphs. When you have directions also with each node, so you can move only from one node to this node. You cannot move back. If that kind of relation is there, you call it in degree and out degree. So general term which I believe you might be knowing most of these terms. Are you do you know how many doesn't know these terms? Anybody who doesn't know this term?
In degree and out degree, I don't know.
Okay, so these are actually available in graphs. Graphs के context में ज़्यादा बात होती है in degree out degree. Trees में नहीं होती है, क्योंकि trees में we do not restrict our direction of motion. So here we allow both. Here we allow both way motion. We can move from this to this and back to this from this. So we do not have any concept of direction, that only this direction is valid. This is not. But in graphs we have. So in degree out degree वहाँ पे होता है. So we'll stop here, and I expect you to go through some book, standard book, and go through all the terms related to binary tree. Okay, other terms भी होती हैं, and then in the next lecture we will cover some of the algorithms related to binary trees. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.